Hi everyone, let's have a look at my low time frame and micro bullish and bearish Elliott Wave scenarios on Bitcoin, starting with the low time frame very bullish scenario, which is an alternative where this is a wave 1 followed by an ABC corrective zigzag structure in a wave 2, which is the most common corrective pattern for a wave 2, for then another wave 1, 2, and then we're looking for a bigger 3 to the upside, right? It's basically a 3 over 3. Now there's two main reasons why this scenario is an alternative. The first one is that this wave 1 over here is very difficult to count in a nice 5-wave move to the upside. Just by looking at it, it looks more to be a 3-wave structure. So that is number 1. And number 2 is if this is the wave 1 of then a bigger wave 3, I prefer this high of the second wave 1 to be above the high of the first wave 1, and therefore creating some sort of a diagonal which usually looks like a 1, 2. Then I have a second 1, second 2, and then you get the bigger 3 to the upside, where the second one is taking the high of the first one. This is by far most common, so that is something to take into account with this scenario. The invalidation in this scenario is if price is going to take the low at 26.361. If we then move to one of my two preferred scenarios, because it's all about basically this resistance area, and I'll explain. So we have a couple of updates here where now this is a 3-wave structure in a wave W, which is a 5, then we have a 3 and another 5-wave move, so a zigzag in the W, followed then by a 3-wave correction in wave X, and then we're looking for another zigzag move to the upside, where this might be the first structure. So this can already be a wave A, followed then by a corrective wave B, before we then get another wave C to the upside. And the most common target area for wave C in this second ABC zigzag structure is between the 1 and the 1.236, taken from the low to the high of A to currently the low of this wave B, which is sitting between 27.3K and 27.5K. And it so happens that the 0.618, which is a very common target still for a wave Y, pulled from the low of W to the high of W to the low of X, is also sitting at that area, as you can see over here, at 27.5K. So this is a very important area in this scenario, where in this particular scenario you don't want to see price moving to the upside, but you want to see it rejecting in this particular area. We also have a target box over here with some additional resistance between 27.3K and 27.4K. And inside this area, we have a daily, the current weekly point of control, and we have a daily naked point of control all inside that area. So yeah, important resistance for this scenario, after which in this scenario, you expect another move to the downside. And then this is also known as a double zigzag. So we had an ABC 535 in the W, any corrective pattern in X, and there you have another 535 ABC in wave Y to then finish wave Y and looking for downside to come. One small detail, by the way, we also have the triple top at 27.5K, which has to do with these highs, 1, 2, and then number 3 over here. So there can be some liquidity above those triple highs for then a continuation to the downside. However, there's also a scenario where if one would reject over here, it is not necessarily a very bearish scenario where we go to much lower prices. We could still move to the downside before moving to the upside, and that is this scenario. So new scenario over here where we have a 3-wave in wave W, but then this move to the downside over here and then a wave X is a 3-wave structure as well. So we have a 3-wave in a W, 3-wave in an X, and then we are looking for a 3-wave in a Y, which then is a zigzag structure. So it has to be a 5, 3, 5-wave move to the downside to finish wave X. So then we have a W, X, and then we're looking for a wave Y to the upside, because on my ATAS template, this daily naked point of control at 26.350 is not yet hit. And that is actually quite interesting. So we still have, in my opinion, my ATAS template, this 26.350 daily naked point of control. And if price is going to move up in 3 waves, reaching that target area we just spoke about with the 1.236, the 1-to-1, the target box over here, triple top of course, but also the 886 retracement taken with the Fibonacci from the high to the low over here, which is a wave B target, in this then being an A, 3-wave in a B, and then a wave C to the downside in a zigzag, then the most common target area for this wave Y over here, for this to be an ABC, is between the 1 and the 1.236, which is between the daily naked point of control at 26.350 and 26k. So this is a very important support area for Bitcoin. So now we identified a very important resistance area for Bitcoin, and we have identified a very important support resistance for Bitcoin. And then if price is going to move to the upside or eventually move to the downside, it's all about observing what is price doing, right? If price is going to move impulsively to the upside with a much higher amount of volume than in this structure over here, then this might become a bigger wave 3 in the more bullish scenario. It is not likely, it is an alternative, but it is something we have in mind. So if this is going to be very impulsive, very bullish, potential wave 3, but if it's going to be quite equal volume to wave A, and that means like over here, then this might be a wave C and then rejecting to the downside, where the rejection to the downside, if this is the end of wave Y and we expect more downside, well, if we look at the trend over here, we can then expect volume to increase over here while price is moving to the downside. And that of course means that this scenario, potential trading setup, is going to be completely invalidated, because you want to see some proof of support. If volume is pumping to the downside, price impulsively moving down, volume moving up impulsively, not what you want to see for a setup, right? You want to see some proof of support. You want to either see a market structure change, you want to see some bullish divergences, or whatever it is you have in your plan. However, you now know very important resistance, very important support for Bitcoin. If we then go to the micro scenario and we switch to the 15-minute, it's a bit of a mess honestly on the 15-minute because of the news we had yesterday. Like we have a wick to the upside, wick to the downside, also known as a Darth Maul pattern from Star Wars, you know so well. We have this then as a 5-wave structure. This looks to be, or counts best as, a 5-wave move, which then means this is either a wave A or a wave 1 in this particular scenario, which then means the corrective structure is either a wave 2 or a wave B. Now, if we look at this sideways action over here, this is much more common in a wave B than in a wave 2. The most common pattern, corrective pattern for a wave 2 is a zigzag, which is a 5-3-5 wave move, usually quite short and quite deep, for then continuation to the upside. And this mess fits much better with a potential wave B scenario, for then eventually a wave C to the upside, where then again we have that target area of wave C. It's the same as already spoken about many times now. But if this is a wave 1 followed by a wave 2 and a wave 3, the minimum target usually for a wave 3 is the 1.618 over here, sitting at 27.8k. So if price would move up to this area over here, it is quite likely we are going to continue pushing to higher prices. So in this particular scenario, it is quite difficult to count this corrective structure. It's probably like a WXY type of move, so I won't go in detail, but just keep an eye on what is happening here, and then eventually potential upside. The invalidation for this scenario is taking the low at 26.3k. Now, if price is going to move above this wave 3 over here, then the next area of resistance that I would be looking for, and I actually have to zoom out over here back to the 1 hour, is the following. We have a target box between 28.9k and 29.2k, so that is a very important area. But we also have the highs over here at 28.3k. So in this being a WX and then a bigger Y, another common target for wave Y is over here, the white box between 28.2k and 28.7k, including the highs at 28.3k, and then that target box is just above. So keep an eye on those areas as well. Now, I hope this video was helpful or valuable to you. Please check out the macro and high time frame video if you're interested. And for now, thanks for watching and subscribing, and I will see you at the next one. Bye bye.